To experience the Art Basel for a second time has been incredible. I've always been attracted to art since I was younger. The process of creating was always interesting, so I sought out that creation in myself. Whether it was making videos with friends, journaling, or drawing strangers, it all felt important. An attraction to art can seem puzzling to others who can never see drawing as fun, or writing as emotional, or even music as more than rhythms to dance to. In my 20th year, I began to understand the true beauty that is art and why I've always been drawn to it. Not for the paint itself, or the canvas that is overtaken, not for the camera that sits still without a soul to use it, but for the humans that occupy the space, their thoughts and feelings that will forever remain in peace, even as it slowly decays. My love for art only amplified when I realized one of the greatest ways to look at art is to see it as a study of human beings, their emotions, their life experiences, and their shortcomings. In my 20th year, I realized art is a format for understanding ourselves and the human experience. Displaying a piece of art almost. Like, not to be like, my videos are art, but you spend so much time and energy and creativity on editing and filming and stuff that it's nice that it can be viewed. And I think my goal and when I'm posting is like, I just want to make people feel the way I feel when I watch other creators and other YouTubers and creatives and stuff like that. I want people to grasp onto the human aspects of me that remind them of themselves, the same way I do of other people, because I think it's just a lovely way to like different parts of yourself and feel like you're not alone. So you can turn the screen around. Like, about a week prior to my birthday, I decided that I wanted to visit a botanical garden, either on the morning of my birthday or on the day after. But of course, things don't always go as planned, so after a couple of days of being sick in bed, which that was horrible, and then a couple of more days of literally just not wanting to leave the house, I finally find myself at a botanical garden. This doesn't come as a surprise at all, but I've only visited a couple of botanical gardens. The thing is, I always find myself wanting to go back, and I wonder if that's because of where I was raised. For anyone that doesn't know, I was raised in the Everglades, so I grew up playing outside. I grew up seeing animals, alligators and different types of bugs, and I was surrounded by trees, and it was very warm. But of course, like anyone else, like most people, as I grew older, I became less connected with outside. Like they could be instruments. I went in nature less often, and I found myself more on social media. Perhaps that's why I felt like going to a botanical garden was something I wanted to do when I turned 21. It definitely wasn't a conscious decision to go to a botanical garden with the idea of like connecting with my younger self and feeling young again through experiencing nature. But I wonder if it's like something that was subconscious. Maybe I'm crazy and I'm dramatic, but as I'm reviewing the footage and I'm reliving how I was feeling, I just wonder if that's a subconscious decision that I made. Obviously, it's not outlandish for me to want to go to a botanical garden, but a little introspection never hurt anybody. Like I said earlier in the video, I don't necessarily fully feel 21. It's sort of a weird feeling. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. Actually, I know that a lot of people feel the same way. I don't want to shut out the parts of myself that exist in me from being a child once. I find that to be cruel and unnecessary, but I also don't want to succumb to immature mindsets and being stuck. So, the introduction to being 21 has allowed me to think about the importance of allowing both parts of myself to exist. Memory has been refreshed while editing. So I think for me personally, I put a lot of energy and time and thinking into this. I think because for me, it was more than a photo shoot. It was also a form of creation. And I'd say that I'm a creative. So it felt like a project for me. When it comes to creating, whether it's painting or making videos or taking pictures, whatever it is, I like to do my best. My love won't fade after the preview. We only
I would say that drag definitely gives me a large sense of pride, and also definitely like a boost in my confidence. Just because some people obviously don't understand it, and I've had discussions in class with people about it, and sometimes it'll kind of be approached as like, oh, you like are a cross dresser for money. And while that I guess is kind of true, drag ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a hyper exaggerated extension of yourself. It's kind of how you choose to perceive like your own self and what like rings true to your soul. And it's putting that out for perception by the world. Here I struggle with insecurities like most people do. And a lot of that insecurity lies in what I think people are thinking about me and how like I'm being perceived by other people. And obviously that's out of my control. However, when I'm in drag, it gives me like that control to be perceived, because through the outfit, through the makeup, through the hairstyle, through the song that I'm performing, and my stage presence while performing it, I'm giving a very, very specific perception. Plus, the money is definitely an added aspect of it too, because that's a very, I guess, kind of like material confirmation, like that people enjoy your art and also like think you look pretty, which is always nice. That's like another big thing about it for me as well, being able to choose how to express myself and what that expression looks like. And it also like gives me the confidence, not just like mentally, but also like obviously in my regular day-to-day life, I do not wear sundresses covered in ribbons and bows, but it does kind of give me the power to make more less mainstream fashion choices. And so, yeah, it just sort of makes me feel free, it makes me feel proud, and it makes me feel strong as well, because it's very hard. That's one thing people don't think about. It's very hard. You're wearing like multiple layers of tights, you have high heels on, a corset that's like cinched for the gods. It's all very hard. And give a drag queen $1. That is my closing statement. Give a drag queen $1.
Hello, my name is Davina. I'm a 22-year-old artist from South Florida, and I make R&B music for the girls, the gays, and the theys. It's important to have representation because I feel like in this generation, it's being more normalized, but growing up, it wasn't as normalized for me at least. And every time I listen to music, it's never about anything with girls. It's always with guys. So for the listeners, it's like being able to relate to that music and actually feel like you're being seen, because you can relate to any song, of course, if you put yourself in that concept, in the perspective of it, but there's a different feeling when you're actually seen by the artist and you feel like you're actually connected to that artist. And it's like, hey, like my sexuality isn't just for fun, like this is like my life, in the same way that like heterosexual people have all these representation everywhere because it's the more normative. It's important to have that lesbian representation and not be sexualized because you're lesbian.
Tell me I'm all that you see. Tell me I'm all that you dream. Tell me that you're living your fantasy.
I want you all the time. I can't even tell a lie. You got me hypnotized, riding all night. Just tell me what to do. I'm here to be your muse, touching and kissing too, searching, learning just having fun, but when our lips lock, that's when it stops. Take me up to the top. We got forever together, that's how I know I want.
Listening to Davina is the gay agenda. I'm a lesbian. I'm gay. The reason why I push myself as a lesbian artist so much is I feel like in the music industry, there's not a lot of lesbian representation. There's pride representation, but I wouldn't say a lot of lesbian. Because if you're not a girl in red type lesbian, where do you really fit in that category?
Loves her family. She only really loves me when she's in the mood, and I can't stand lying here wishing she was mine. My bedroom floor is where I will reside until she dials my number like it's fine. No holding on dear life, and is there a thought? She makes me think it's true. Is there a light when she enters the room with her halo? Colors collide. She's smiling the same still. She's got me inside out. Oh, what an angel.
I love art because it is a way to communicate things that are hard to communicate, or you feel like you cannot communicate any other way. Especially feelings, or working through things that happen to you. I love art because it is a mode of communication that is universal and can be tapped into by anyone, no matter their skill set or what language they speak or where they come from. It's just something that anyone can find something to relate with in. And for me, pottery specifically, I feel connected to, like every generation of humans that have been on this earth making art and vessels, and like pottery is the oldest form of art, because it is so utilitarian, but at the same time can preserve history and tell stories, and when taken care of, can last millions of years. I feel connected to human beings hundreds of thousands of years ago doing the same exact thing, and it's just the coolest thing to me that it just feels so human, if that makes sense. Like, this is just what we're meant to be doing, you know, sitting around and having a good time and making things that help us with tasks in our daily lives, but also help us communicate those feelings that you can't communicate any other way, you know, like, whatever your medium is, like music, visual art, dancing, whatever, like, it's just that stuff inside of you that has to come out in a way that is not spoken. I have a James Baldwin quote that I'll read too. Read something which you thought only happened to you, and you discover that it happened 100 years ago to Dostoevsky. This is a very great liberation for all the suffering, struggling person who always thinks that he is alone. This is why art is important. Art would not be important if life were not important, and life is important.
I made my song I'm With You in November of 2020. After I visited my grandma in the hospital, she had really bad dementia, so she was very unresponsive. So I used music as a way to kind of like communicate with her, just to let her know that I was there. And when I got home, I became really sad just thinking about our past memories and when I was a kid and when she was healthy, we both lived on the beach together. So I made a song about it with no lyrics, just instrumentals, kind of just to represent nostalgia. And I wasn't expecting it to get a lot of responses, but I had over 1,000 streams in the day, and I had a lot of people reach out to me about how that song had a great impact on them, and it was kind of like meditative, and I think that music is such a great outlet to connect with others and just express your emotions. Being in a band and being a solo artist is just very different for me, because for my solo music, I make it all by myself, and it's more chill and intimate compared to my band. I have 4 other members that have their own ideas, and we all come up with it together. So it's more, and that genre is more of like a shoegaze one, so they're both very different, but it's still like me at the end of the day. Like, these are 2 things that I enjoy, 2 genres of music. And for my solo project, I can be a complete control freak because there's no one else but myself, so I have full control over like the artwork, the theme, and when I want to release everything. But with the band, we have to pick a date all together, and we have to come up with the work together, see which ones we like and which ones we don't, so it's more time consuming.